Have you ever wondered what truly makes an action your own, freely chosen, versus one you feel compelled to take? It is a fundamental question that shapes our understanding of freedom and responsibility. At its core, the distinction between voluntary and involuntary action lies in the presence or absence of coercion. A voluntary action is one freely chosen, without the initiation of force or threat of force from another party. An involuntary action, conversely, is one undertaken due to such a threat or the actual use of force. This critical difference stems directly from the non-aggression principle, a cornerstone of libertarian philosophy. The non-aggression principle, often abbreviated as NAP, asserts that it is illegitimate to initiate or threaten physical force against another person or their property. When someone acts voluntarily, they are exercising their self-ownership and making choices about their life and possessions without external compulsion. When force or the threat of force is introduced, it negates this self-ownership, transforming the action from a free choice into a forced compliance. The key is whether the choice to act or not act originates purely from the individual's will or is dictated by another's coercive power. To determine if an action is voluntary, consider if the individual genuinely had alternative options free from direct harm. If a person chooses to work, buy a product, or enter an agreement, these are voluntary if they are free to refuse without facing physical aggression, theft, or fraud. If, however, they are forced to hand over money at gunpoint or sign a contract under the threat of violence against their family, that action is involuntary. The critical factor is whether the individual retains the right to say no without suffering a violation of their person or property. An important nuance here is the concept of implicit versus explicit consent. Explicit consent is clearly stated and understood, such as signing a contract. Implicit consent might be inferred from actions, like entering a store to browse goods, which implies consent to abide by store rules. However, neither form of consent can be valid if it is obtained through misrepresentation or the threat of force. Furthermore, it is essential to differentiate between economic pressure and coercion. Facing limited job options or financial constraints is not coercion if no one is initiating force against you. Coercion is the use of force or its threat, not merely difficult circumstances. Understanding the clear boundary between voluntary and involuntary actions provides a robust framework for evaluating ethical interactions and the legitimate role of institutions. It highlights that true freedom requires the absence of aggression, allowing individuals to make their own choices and flourish without external compulsion. This foundational concept underpins a society built on mutual respect and peaceful cooperation.